Bert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I've got a Facebook broadcast that will very likely be converted to a YouTube video, and I wanted to show the sun appearing in the clouds once again. You can hashtag local sun. I've got a lot of video to give strong, I believe, compelling evidence that the sun is close and moving. The earth does not move. We have a stationary earth, fixed, immovable, and then the sun, moon, and stars move above the face of the earth. And I'm looking for the moon right there. And I'm on it. You'll be able to see it. It's a bit of a challenge because of all the clouds, which is one of the reasons why we can't see all the continents, even with a powerful telescope. When clouds get in the way, we can't see it. Clouds, particulate, yes, they're modifying the weather. They're modifying the air we breathe with chemicals to change the rate and the timing of condensation. The water is seeking its level. Tide is going out right now. It's just what it does. The water fills in whatever container it's in, and we're real close to the ocean. There's about a couple mile-an-hour breeze right now. I'll zoom in on the structure right there and its reflection. The symmetry is perfect, indicating a stationary earth. The water is relaxed. That's what it does. The ground will maintain somewhat of a contour. It's just the way it actually is. And then the reflections follow the eyes of the observers. So that's pretty much how that works. Does it look like a porta unit could be upside down anywhere in the world in relationship to other porta units? That could be a problem. And if that were so obvious, why would so many people believe we still live on a globe? Well, it isn't. In many cases around me, if somebody is in my life, they know I'm outing what I believe to be the global deception, the global lie. Yet why do they still believe that lie? Well, it's beyond human capacity to understand some of these things. I accept the reality that God is sovereign, He's in control, and according to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, His word says to everybody forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So there you have it. It's more than just Satan tricking people. It's God helping people believe the lie they apparently want to believe. Ouch. So the symmetry of the reflection is clear. I know this area really well, and based on the tidal activity and the percentage of the where and when the sun and moon are is all goes into play when I do a recording. Right now the water isn't really reflective because there's a film on it. Here that film, there is no film that I can see. It's beautifully reflected. Sometimes the film is just dust that's collected on the marsh grass and rinsed off by the tidal activity. A lot of minnows swimming around there. We've had up to, I've seen 8-foot bull shark in here. We had a catch and release of one. Caught it, cut the head off, and and released it back out into the water to be crab and fish food. So what I want you to see right here, even though it's really the symmetry of all the reflections of the clouds above and on the water below, which is a plane mirror. We live on a stationary plane. The short version is the truth matters. We've got a limited amount of time to get the truth out and to expose the deception. Imagine in China, in many areas of the world, there is not the free distribution and viewing of information. It's highly regulated. So in our world of apparent freedom, the distribution of information is highly regulated also, just differently. It's the illusion of choice. Isn't that special? That's what they do. They'll do it in such a way that it makes you think that you've got freedom, and what they're actually doing is recommending videos that lead you down the path that that the system wants you to believe. So it's an automated system that somewhat has an algorithm that's based on your previous interests, previous searches, and also where it wants to take you. Earlier this week on some YouTube broadcasts, there was mud down there, clam beds and that we could see. Now we can't see those. Huh. Well, it's the water reflecting. It's just what it does. I'm going to take us out to the open ocean now. I can feel, not only can I see the sunlight so much brighter, I can feel the intensity of it hitting me. So how does the sun actually work? You know, now hearing videos when they're explaining the universe and how many millions of tons of hydrogen and helium that are supposedly occurring in the sun, and they're saying it's 1.5 million Earth sizes and 93 million miles away, and whatever temperature they tell us it is. It's all a bunch of BS. Not buying it. They're lying. I ain't buying. How about that? Do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? Well, if you do, you might want to seek some medical attention or something because the earth isn't moving. How about that? And it doesn't matter how many letters you've got around your name or digits in your Monopoly Money bank account. One day you're not going to be able to fog a mirror, and all this belief and talk about evolving from stardust and monkeys, and that's all baloney too. It was presented as scientific fact. It was science fiction, baby. How about that? I'm going to flip this around so it's in the proper view, proper orientation. So the sun actually appeared over there today from this vantage point, a bit left. It's been rising for a while. So to be clear, northeast is in the middle of the view, and northwest is in the middle of the view. Remember where I left in our neighborhood? So it's rising in the middle, setting in the middle. Huh. Yeah, that doesn't work on the spinning, wobbling, and gyrating imaginary globe, except in the imagination, where it's, unfortunately for some, entrenched so deeply they can't see beyond the deception. Oh well, I'm trying to tell them. On my YouTube channel, Truth, can go there if you like, and see a lot of powerful documentaries to expose the reality of the world we live in. The shape of the earth is almost kind of like a dashboard light. If you can believe that line of baloney, that there are people and stuff sticking to a spinning ball, that just goes to show you're obviously deceived, but pride is going to stop you from seeing that. So, yeah, and then there's people with a lot of credentials saying we're living in a simulation. I'm not buying that. I do believe we're living in a computer-programmed reality. People are programmed by powerful computer technology, cinematography, movies, music. Extreme Reality Check talked about Laurel Canyon, mind control, the different celebrity figures, Jim Morrison, Crosby, Stills and Nash, the Beatles. How about that? How about that? Jerry Garcia, oh, isn't he a cool guy? Yeah, working for the establishment. Ooh, my light was on. There we go. A lot of friendly people, and then some that aren't. Oh well, that's one of the friendly ones. The drain is in the middle of the parking lot, down in the low spot. That just makes sense, doesn't it? In the middle of the view, it says dead end, no turnaround. There's a metaphorical significance to that as well in the Eternal. Just that little puddle shows the simplicity of water exposing the impossibility of the globe. Well, I'm sure going to make sure I rinse off my brakes next time before I take us out on a ride like this. That squeaking is kind of bugging me, but oh well. It's just the way it is. It's a nice opportunity to show you a little different perspective. When you want... I wanted to show you just some of the dynamics of how this looks. The clam beds there will be covered, well, we'll see more of them. The tide rises and falls twice a day, a high and a low tide. It's called the diurnal tide. So when the people are driving by and they see my shirt and they see the car, some of them will go to my channel, some will not. I do my best to make the information available and then let God take care of the results. It's between God and the individuals. So the water is leaving here because, well, it's got a place to go because the water is leaving the coastal preserve there. That's just how it actually works. I've got a thumbnail for a video where I show the water coming in this direction and whirlpools spinning opposite directions right next to one another. Because some people will use the ridiculous assertion that the water spinning in a toilet is an example of the earth moving. Well, bummer. If that and some fake pictures from a supposed moon landing is all the evidence you need, well, bummer for you. A lot of my friends and family around the world are waking up to the reality that we're being lied to about that and much, much more. So there's a lot of activity, like water squirting, it looks like, out of the clams or something. That is really interesting. I can't say that I remember ever seeing it like that before. One of the things that has happened for, coming up on 3 years now, I've had I've had a P900. Coming up on a year now, I've had the P1000, a powerful instrument of mass instruction. So I captured the local sun video with the P900, and it's got a lot of views and a lot of shares, and it has been a part of waking people up to, wow, that really looks like the sun is in the clouds. Yeah, because that's where it is. That's biblical and that's reality. It means that they're lying about so much deception. So, is it a conspiracy? For gosh sakes, 2 kids stealing a bicycle is a conspiracy. What is it when AI, artificial intelligence, projects a false reality on humanity that's going to have an eternal significance? Well, it's a big deal. And that's why I'm exposing it. I do it day and night, 24/7. It's happening right now. People loving and hating me, blocking me, unfriending me. Isn't that special? I'm good with it. It's not that I want to be blocked or unfriended. It just happens because some people are wanting to not focus on the truth or the reality that we live in. It's kind of like, give me the channel changer, some Red Bull and a pizza or a beer or a glass of wine and some relaxing music and a false reality, and let me just ponder science fiction. So they'll watch ridiculous programs like Nova, National Geographic, the Discovery Channel, that are promoting a false reality. And NASA is at the tip of the sphere of deception. Yeah, how about that? Well, I'm doing whatever I can to expose that. Now, when I'm sleeping or almost sleeping, I'm listening to God's Word, typically. I say typically because sometimes I'll be updating my status and just fall asleep right there. Good morning, Sally. And this is the Prince Resort right here at the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier. We recently had the beach renourishment take place. And I've got a lot of video of that. We've got the small swimming pools here and the big one right there. We don't know the actual size, I don't anyway, the actual size or the shape of the puddle that the continents rise out of. And this is a south-facing beach, so, and it's curved. You can look at it, South Carolina, how this looks here. We're expecting about 20 million guests this year. We're a little over halfway through the season. Good morning, Ron. Good morning. And there's about 5 feet higher sand here now. What they did is they used dredging equipment to vacuum up sand off the bottom of the ocean and pump it up here with a submarine pipeline and move it around with diesel electric bulldozers. I've got it on my channel. You can see it if you care to. I'm going to zoom in on the young man on the smart device, a couple years old. A lot of children are on smartphones before they walk. There he is, there it is. And I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong. So when our sons would have probably been doing that too if we had them available. We got them video game systems and all that. It was entertaining and freed up some of our time because our sons would be digitally distracted. And we've been doing it for years. Television has been one of the mass mind control / population controls for humanity. Television, music, fantasy, all of that. To a certain extent, at least there's an opportunity to hear some alternative views on the internet, on our portable computers. You know, early on we had cell phones. One of my neighbors has a bag phone. It looks like a big old walkie-talkie. I want to get it or use it for a photo op if I can, but kind of interesting. We've got a 1940s telephone in the house. I could use that, make it look like the President Nixon calling the astronauts supposedly on the moon. This is the 50th year anniversary of the moon landing hoax, just so you know. I'm outing NASA, the financial system of the world, the medical, military, industrial complex, Hollywood, all the mind control, artificial intelligence, all of that. Rather than try and hurriedly explain all the details of that, it's on my channel. It's on my Facebook. You can look it up if you care to. A lot of my subscribers don't really even have any content, and they don't have an active channel where it's sharing. They're consumers. Now maybe they've got another channel and a pseudonym that they're able to express themselves with. That's another option. You may be in a sensitive area where you can't jeopardize your identity and your perspective. You maybe don't want your perspective to be known. Well, ultimately, I would encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart, because it matters for eternity. This could very well be the last broadcast I ever do. The last recording. It may be the last day that I'm able to do this. Now, if we've met somebody digitally on through television, they're in many cases still out there in reruns and that. I'm zoomed in on the moon, very challenging to see with the naked eye, yet I could zoom in through the clouds. All the different lives, all the different people, all the lonely people, where do they come from? And some people we meet seem to be well adjusted and satisfied. What I would simply say for what's happened with me, I was actually born again roughly 4.5 years ago on Reformation Day, or Halloween, as the blood-drinking, human-sacrificing Satanists celebrate. And then they sweeten up the deal with candy distribution to make it fun for the kids. Kind of like Santa Claus, Satan Claus, NASA-lize, fantasy for adults. How about that? Do you still believe the Santa lie? That's why I had the hat on top of the mirror at the Colorado Flat Earth Conference. Yeah, am I a bit eccentric, a bit unconventional? Yeah, hope you think so, because I haven't seen much going on like what's going on in me. I mean, it doesn't mean that there aren't other unusual people. It's just that God has a way of expressing himself through individuals that especially aren't afraid. And that's what you're looking at with me. Like I say continually, I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. That makes me dangerous to the deception that's being perpetrated in this world. So that's why I have an opportunity to do this, and I'll keep on doing it. So my recording with the P1000 is coming to a close, and I believe I'm going to end the broadcast very soon. No curvature on the horizon, that's obvious. 8 inches per mile squared, earthcurvature.com, you can check it out. But for the most important information, I encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart, because it's only by God's grace that anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. This is Robert Forsch. Feel free to call me anytime. All my contact information is public.